What's up, peeps? Conscious Approach. We back live in effect, April the 18th. Thank you to everybody for joining. Thank you everybody for tuning into the channel. My name is JV Wins as always. That's my boy Dogon SS for another edition to the Conscious Approach channel on YouTube. Appreciate everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. We certainly appreciate the support as we continue to grow the community. But if you happen to be catching wind of our videos and you have not subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and leave a comment. Go ahead and hit that like button. Let us know what you think about the content that we got going on over here as we continue to grow the community. So, always like to preface each and every one of our streams and videos by putting that little caveat out there. But other than that, welcome to our world. And if you've been a part of this train, appreciate you for jumping on yet another week. And with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get started with this week's topics. First up, we are going to talk about this interesting news that came through the wire. So, what you are seeing here is an international soccer player. Now, this guy's name is Achraf Hakimi. He plays for apparently a popular international soccer team called Paris Saint-Germain, or is it Paris Saint-Germain? Not exactly sure how you pronounce that, but he is a popular soccer star. He's a defender on the team.
Nice.
And he's in the news because he and his wife are divorcing, which isn't, that's nothing special, right? Famous, rich, or affluent notable people get divorced all the time, right? So that's nothing new. But what makes this story particularly of interest is of a move that he made to protect himself from being basically, completely dried up in the event that a divorce takes place. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and play a video because I don't want to say what it is. I just want to kind of let the viewers or anyone else who is not familiar with this story, watch this because this video can kind of explain it better than I could. So let me see here. And this is, of course, from the content factory of WorldStar. So we are protected from the copyright machine, thankfully. So we'll go ahead and play this, and then we'll give our thoughts about this particular story afterwards. But this is very interesting. This is the first time that I personally have ever heard of anything like this happening. So here we go.
Achraf Hakimi's divorce from his wife, Hiba Abouk, took an unexpected turn when she filed for more than half of the Moroccan footballer's property and fortune. As one of League One's highest paid players, earning over €1 million per month, this could have been a massive payout for Abouk. However, during the court proceedings, it was revealed that Hakimi had no property or assets under his name. The reason? He had transferred his entire fortune to his mother long before the divorce. From property to cars, houses, jewelry, and even clothes, everything was under his mother's name. This unanticipated move left Hakimi's ex-wife empty-handed, demonstrating a surprising tactic even the union's founder didn't foresee. Press the follow button for more. Achraf Hakimi's divorce from his wife.
Nice. Unbelievable.
Yeah, so apparently he put all of his assets into his mother's name. So on paper, he's like, I guess officially on paper, he would be considered like poor or destitute. But apparently, legally, this would mean that his wife is entitled to nothing because she's filing for divorce from him and not his mom. So you got a lot of people who are kind of cheering this on, who are kind of celebrating the move because they say strike one for the good guys when it comes to men, particularly high value men who, get married and then end up getting divorced and taken for half of everything. And this story is particularly of interest as well. There's an additional aspect of this that makes it even more interesting because apparently, because on paper he has nothing, she is recognized as the breadwinner in that dynamic, therefore making him potentially eligible to claim have her stuff. So a lot of craziness going on. All relevant links, of course, are in the description of this video. But I thought that this was very interesting. And then of course there's other weird murky things about this that make this potentially more complicated than even that, because apparently he's allegedly under investigation for like a sexual assault or a rape situation.
Ooh.
So that complicates things. But on the surface, as it pertains to the divorce dynamics, she was trying to get half his stuff, and now she can't because he actually has nothing because his mom has everything. And then to flip it, he might be able to get half of her assets because she's viewed as the breadwinner. And by the way, she's not exactly in the poorhouse. She's like real big over in Europe in the entertainment industry. She's got several entertainment properties that are, under her wing via all the stuff that she's doing, from an entertainment standpoint. So she's just not, random chick who got with the guy and she has nothing to fall back on, and so now she's entitled to have. But interesting story nevertheless. What do you think about what's going on with this? This guy's name is Achraf Hakimi, and his wife's name, or rather his future ex-wife's name, is where is it again? Where am I at here?
Hiba something.
Hiba Abouk. Yeah, Hiba Abouk is her name. So yeah, interesting stuff, man. But what do you think?
Um, I think this guy, I mean, I didn't know about the potential allegations from this man outside of this situation. But he was going to win my Walter Payton Man of the Year award for this one because that's the finesse of the century, at least since the turn of the new millennium. I've never heard anything like this myself. So I give this guy a pat on the back. And as you mentioned earlier, men are taking notes, and I'm pretty sure other high value men, as you mentioned, are also taking notes. Tiger Woods, I hope you have your pen and your pad out. This is absolutely phenomenal. It's fire. When I first heard the story, I got a great laugh out of it. It was one of those bellowing laughs coming from my lower intestines all the way up. I actually absolutely love this. The karma was served instantly. So yeah, this was great. This woman here, because I think she's she's an older woman, older than him.
About
So
12 years. She's old. She's 12 years older than he is. Yeah.
so he was definitely prey. She definitely poached on him, a la Brittany Renner, and so she went at this completely with a game plan. Um, Even if this guy was holding it down in the marriage, I still feel like she would have pulled the trigger on this. Um, you know, I'm pretty sure she's going to claim irreconcilable differences or whatever. But nevertheless, even if I'm just saying, even if this guy was holding it down, uh, that's not part of the agenda, and that wasn't part of the game plan. She was going to file anyway. So for her to try to sieve half or more than half of his assets seems like a power play on her end. And if she already had, properties, as you mentioned, and she's already an actress and affluent herself, she was just looking at this as a power move and a chess play so she can be more well off. So I don't know who he has in his corner, but that was the finesse, man, of all finesses. Now, am I balling as of yet? No. But if you guys hit that like and subscribe, me and JP Wynn will be balling. And that is a type of thing that, well, you might want to look into. Move your assets in somebody else's name. Mama is a G for this. So I have more to weigh in on this, but my instant reaction was I loved every second of it. So how about you, bro? How do you feel about this situation here?
Yeah, I think that that was a great move.
Yeah.
So, I did a little bit of research here.
Mm-hmm.
Not too deep, but just some basic things to make sure that I wouldn't get on this stream and look like an idiot. and
Of
say
course.
stuff that doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So he went pro beginning in 2016. Um, his the first team that he played for professionally was let me see here. Um, let's see.
Wow. This is great.
So he went pro initially 2016. The first team that he played for was Real Madrid Castilla, right? So
Oh boy.
2016. They got married in 2020. He's been playing soccer officially on record since he was a youth in 2005. I'm willing to gather that for the majority of his soccer playing career, he did not know this woman. Therefore, because he has basically built this by himself and he merely married her because he chose her to marry her, you know my rule with this. Um, I am an adamant agreeer. I am in adamant agreement with the, at this point, in my opinion, classic line in the Rick Ross song with Drake, in which Drake says, "Bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym." I believe in that. So unless you're helping me build this, it doesn't make you by default entitled to half of what I built. Now, the only caveat is if y'all have kids together and you got a family, the children need to be taken care of.
Mhm.
So, taking care of two children, in my opinion, doesn't amount to half of my net worth or half of my assets. So, even still, with the kids involved in the situation, if this were to turn out in such a way that she were to get half of his assets because there are kids involved, it would still be an egregious injustice, in my opinion, because half of his assets are not what's needed to account for those kids. Um, so, but be that as it may, because of the move that he made, he's protected from incurring that kind of a penalty simply for marrying her. And yeah, as you speculated, I did some more digging, and initially she filed for divorce from him due to irreconcilable differences, i.e., infidelity, which is what this always comes down to every single time. And I'm getting so cynical looking at all of these stories. Now, I don't want to speak for every. I don't want to generalize,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to leave it to commenting on these types of public relationships with high profile people who make a lot of money,
Mhm.
top 10 percenters and that kind of thing. Not everyday people, but top 10 percenters. And these divorces with these top 10 percenters always seem to come down to the woman filing for divorce due to irreconcilable differences
Of course.
every time.
Right.
And so I've gotten cynical. I have, honestly. And I look at these things and I say, if women are as smart as the world is telling me they are, society is telling me women are smarter than men. Society is telling me that women are more capable than men to do stuff. Society is telling me women can do everything a man can do, if not better. But at the very least, society is telling me women are smarter than men. So if
Right.
women are smarter than men, I therefore must believe that this woman has to have a reasonable expectation that this guy might cheat on her.
Mhm.
But she chose to marry him anyway because she wanted to marry famous hot soccer star.
Mhm.
And in order for you to turn around and therefore desire half of everything that he owns due to irreconcilable differences, looks to me as though you are trying to conveniently take advantage of a system that looks to siphon resources from men because they are men in a system that was established upon such a foundation. I don't agree with that system. I'm not a fan of it. Furthermore, I am not a fan of it given the fact that she herself is worth $2 million. So she has a net worth of $2 million, yet she still wanted half this guy's stuff.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that she didn't help him build any of this. She wasn't practicing with him when he was a kid, perfecting his soccer skills. She wasn't helping him become a better defender. She wasn't holding the fort down while he was at soccer camp and all that. Like, they got together after he was already a pro. So for me, if you mix all of that up into a pot and you cook it, I say that this is a justifiable outcome, provided that it continues to go in this direction. So I'm glad that he did do this and protect himself by putting everything in his mother's name, because otherwise he 100% would have had to forfeit half of his assets. Now, again, if he hadn't have made the move, I'd be cool with him having to forfeit something that is commensurate with what it takes to take care of their children, because there's kids involved. Kids got to be taken care of. But I don't think that that would have amounted to half of everything. Yet he would have gotten half of it. Yet she would have gotten half of everything. So, the social justice warriors and the feminists and the women advocates are going to look at his allegations, and they're going to say that the allegations justify why she deserves half. I vehemently disagree. I think that those are separate issues. She filed for divorce, or they were divorcing before there was news of this allegation. So it should not play a role into one's decision-making process when it comes to her being entitled for half. So to me, those are separate issues. But you will have people who will try to use his allegations as a springboard to suggest that she is actually owed half. And I would, of course, think that that's complete and utter trash. But that's what they'll try. That's what they'll try to do. And so it kind of sucks that that little wrinkle is in this thing. And I'm not trying to diminish those allegations. They are serious in and of itself. But just looking at this objectively and all the information that I have available to me thus far, in my opinion, this is playing out the way that it should. So kudos to him and the move that he made. I thought that it was a fantastic strategic decision. And as you alluded to earlier, I certainly hope that other high profile men follow suit.
Yeah, and I agree. I feel like, again, barring the allegations, looking at this situation in a vacuum, it was well played, and no, she shouldn't get half. And like you mentioned, if she wasn't with him kicking on the field, right, then she shouldn't get anything, right? So, she shouldn't get half,
right?
So, but an interesting conversation within this conversation is what feminism has done to women's mindset when it comes to their role as women in general. When you talk to women about, how much do you want to contribute to the household? How much do you want to work? They don't want to contribute half. So if you don't want to contribute half and you haven't been contributing half, why should you get half or more when they get divorced? It doesn't make sense. But let's just stick with the ideology of feminism. And so with feminism, they say, hey, I want to work, I want to do my thing, and I don't want to be a slave in a house. Okay, fine. So, but do you want to contribute 50% or more to the household? And you'll talk to women, and go watch any random Kevin Samuels interview. They'll start off saying, oh, I'm okay with 50-50. And then he'll say, okay, well, if it's 50-50, that means, God forbid, you get laid off or something happens where you can't work. That means 50% of whatever you bring in is 50% of the bills. So that means y'all gonna be out in the street. Do you want that as a woman? And then they immediately think and go, no, I don't want that much responsibility. Okay, fine. So if you don't want 50-50, what's a better ratio? They always land around 80-20. Right? Yeah, they always land around there. So basically, they want to work to have a social life. They don't want to work to contribute to the grunt work and the responsibility of holding down an entire household. They want to leave that to the breadwinner man. And even if there's a six-figure woman, they always want a man to out-earn them. So because they look at men that make less than them as somewhat inferior and get it together. If I'm making this much, you should be making that much. Why? and we've talked about this before in previous conversations, women like to be dominated, period. And part of domination is financial domination. So women that have this convoluted version of, because feminism has just messed up their whole nature. And so their nature is to be taken care of, which is fine. So if you want to be taken care of, why do you want to work? And so what the state has done and what feminism has done, because feminism is a construct that was propagated by the industrial complex, and they needed more employees out there in the workforce. And also with that happening, it also systematically tears down the household. So if there's more women in the workforce and they're out there working, they listen to their boss more than they listen to their husband. They respect their boss more than they respect their husband. If the husband says, "Hey, can you wash the dishes, please?" He said, "Can you wash the dishes?" Why? Because I'm a woman. I ain't no slave. Hey, I'm making 80% of the money. I'm paying 80% of the bills. Can you wash the dishes? I ain't no slave. But then she goes to work. All right. Works all these hours, and whatever boss says goes. So she respects her boss more than she respects her husband. And so when we have this whole feminism dynamic that's rotten in the brains of the majority of women in the United States or any westernized culture, then we have situations like this where a woman who has money but still wants to level up and extract.
Mm-hmm.
And so this situation here is quintessential for any high level man or anybody that's just regular average Joe. You got to be mindful to see if you are seen as a come up in this woman's world. What's her history? What's her past? Especially in a situation like this, when this woman is so many years his senior, it definitely had to be something going on there. And for this guy to have that light bulb in his head to go, I don't trust this. Let me move assets over. That's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But we do have to have a conversation about, whenever you're dealing with a female, that, hey, not so much so, not this bluntly, but do you respect your boss more than you respect me? So you'll listen to your boss more than you listen to me. Why? Because he gives you a paycheck. I pay all of your bills. So why are you not listening to me? And then another angle about all of this crap, where you're talking about irreconcilable differences. And like you mentioned, when you have a high level footballer, as this gentleman here, of course everybody knows his name, and of course he's getting pantaloons thrown at him every time he goes anywhere.
Yeah.
So why act so surprised? Why act so surprised that you because you got yourself an alpha? So why act so surprised that when he's out there, that all of these women are throwing cat at him? They're not surprised. It's their cash out. So they lock the dude down. They know he's going to cheat, but they ride it out for lifestyle purposes. Then after the life, once they've had enough, they go, okay, now I'm gonna catch him cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a cheater, and all men go, come on. All women go, what a scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
And then so her divorcing him is justified in the women's world because cheating is so bad. But as we mentioned before in previous conversations, if women are willing to table cheating or infidelity for a lifestyle, then do they really care about cheating? And if they weren't getting anything out of the end of this when they get divorced, like if they all knew that it doesn't matter how much money he makes and it doesn't matter how much he cheats, you're not getting a dime, these women would still sign up for this guy. They just know that they would just live the whole lifestyle out and never divorce him. Because why would I divorce him? Because I wouldn't get any money. So there's incentive for women to live a lifestyle like this, level up, get a guy like that, and then take half or more. So This whole situation here, again, this puts the whole thing on display, the whole gold diggerish nature of westernized women. And not all women are just hardcore gold diggers, but they have been given a propaganda that makes them on the spectrum. And so, I kudos to this guy. Hopefully those allegations are just allegations, because again, why would you have to take cat when you get cat thrown at you all day? So hopefully that's just, maybe that's probably another cash grab, but that'll iron itself out later. But dealing with this situation, kudos to you, sir. What a defender. All right, pun intended. This guy's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, the allegations do throw a wrinkle into it. But as I said before, I kind of view these as separate issues, even though a lot of people who are on her side will put the two together and somehow make the case that due to these allegations, it suggests something about him and his character, and therefore she's entitled to have anyway. And I say that that's a specious argument. It's irrelevant. Those are separate issues, but in all likelihood, the court of public opinion is going to sway any sort of decision in that regard, and he will have to pay some kind of penalty due to the allegations. But at least he's upfront, protected from purely having to shell out half of everything that he worked to earn just because this woman is deciding that she wanted to get divorced. And I agree, man. Like, women, of course, wouldn't like to hear any of this. But women process these things differently. Women, and it's funny. I was having a conversation with my sister one day and her friend. I think I told you the story about the phone conversation I was having with my sister's friend, where she says she wants a man who's ambitious. And I said, well, what if it's an ambitious Walmart regional manager? And she said, I wouldn't date him. He'd make the good money, but she wouldn't date him because he's not the type of ambition that she wants. It's a conditional form of ambition, not just ambition in a vacuum. And like infidelity, I look at the same. Women accept infidelity conditionally. So long as there is something, if I can weigh pros and cons and decide that the opportunity costs for having to deal with your infidelity are enough for me to, kind of let it slide because I get all of these other things and benefits out of life and this arrangement, I'm going to let it go on. But I will let it go on for long enough that I can build my case so that I can leave you and come out earning. And I can certainly come out with more than I came in with. And that's a very, very sad reality when it comes to this situation. I've seen plenty of marriages that have dissolved due to infidelities. And those are legit. But a lot of these situations in which you're dealing with these high profile people, particularly these men, and they always end in irreconcilable differences. Again, you brought up feminism. One of the primary tenets of feminism is the assertion of women's self-actualization and their intelligence, and in many cases their intellectual superiority to men. That's one of the many things that I've heard about infidelity throughout my life. So I have to see, and maybe this is me being caveman male, and I look at everything logically and I don't infuse a ton of emotion and nuance into stuff like this, because I think at a baseline level, human beings are what they are. Like, God put us here, and at a subatomic level, the atoms and the chromosomes that make up the way men and women are set. I'm a nature versus nurture person when it comes to stuff like this. And so feminism has sort of said to me, women are intellectually superior. Okay, well, if I'm looking at it logically and women are intellectually superior, then women ought to be smart and perceptive enough to know, if I get into a pact with this man, a contract, given everything that he has going on, given his assets and his money, his lifestyle, the type of work that he does, how much he's in the limelight, there's a reasonable expectation that I must therefore maintain that he could cheat on me. Not because it's right or wrong, but because that's the way reality is. People are only as faithful as their options, particularly men. Chris Rock said it best. So if you're dealing with a guy who has as many options, if not more so, than a beautiful woman, which constitutes maybe 5% of the total population of men on this planet, then you have to surmise, if you're as intellectually intelligent as the tenet of feminism suggests, that you're going to have to potentially deal with infidelity on the part of this guy. Therefore, if you get into it with him, I'm not saying that you ask for it or that you deserve what you get, but you had to there had to be an expectation that could happen. And you chose to get into the marriage anyway. Therefore, I must believe you did it, weighing the pros and cons and deciding, despite that, I'm going to do it anyway because there's certain advantages that I get from doing it. And if you do something willfully, I believe accountability has to be had. And at the end of the day, I just don't see how you deserve half for that situation, especially when you didn't help build anything. So I'm glad that he did it as well. Like I said, there's children involved. So I respect the idea that there has to be some commensurate payout to take care of kids. Does that constitute half? No way whatsoever. I don't want to hear that. No, it doesn't. And there's nothing, I don't want to hear anything about her lifestyle. She's worth $2 million in her own right. And again, she didn't create any of this. So I don't care what type of lifestyle you're accustomed to. When you leave the situation, you're not accustomed to that lifestyle anymore. I'm accustomed to being in water when I go to the beach. When I leave the beach, I don't have an expectation of being able to swim in water. I'm not at the beach anymore. So we need to carry that same energy in every other aspect in how we handle these, various situations, especially when we're dealing with these interpersonal dynamics between men and women, And again, y'all keep telling me women are better, smarter, faster, stronger, just all the way around more superior. And if that is the case, then women must therefore have the wherewithal to know, if I do this because I'm smart and I can read the tea leaves, these are the possible outcomes. And you get into something knowing the possible outcomes, you got to take what comes with it because you made that decision willingly. So yeah, I think that this was a great move. Allegations aside, like I said, these things are irrelevant. So I don't want nobody coming at me talking about these allegations.
Come on,
I don't want to hear it. Don't come at me with that. I don't give a damn. Separate issue. For real, separate issue. She shouldn't get half of anything. I don't know what's going to happen with the kids. Kids need to be taken care of. In my opinion, whoever makes most money gets primary custody of the kids, unless you can prove that the other parent is somehow unfit, which is damn near impossible to do. So if he's making the money, give him sole custody. He takes care of the kids. She walks away with her $2 million in the story.
Yeah. And I'll say this, man, as far as high level dudes, why get married? And as you mentioned, if she wasn't there from jump, what are you doing? For all intents and purposes, she's an opportunist looking for a come up. So it really doesn't serve you to get married. Honestly, the only reason why guys are still getting married is because they feel like they have to. But this is a new day, man, and everything's a come up. People are hurting financially. People are reading tea leaves of what's going on globally with the economy, and women are looking to cash out. And you're seen as a ticket, especially if you're an entertainer or, which is soccer. So you're an entertainer. Yeah. So you're seen, and everybody can get online and see your salary. You're a target, dude. I really don't see a reason to get married at this point if you're a high level dude. So this guy, I'm pretty sure he's learned firsthand. He was smart enough to move it around, but even then, look what happens. Tiger, when we covered him, not too long ago, he was trying his best to not get in that. He had a contract, NDA, all that stuff. He ain't getting married. He played it as clean as he could, and she still tried to get 30 million out of him. So guys have to be very careful nowadays when people can't find work, and women are just using their bodies as an asset so they can have a lifestyle that their work ethic can't get. So yeah, guys, just be mindful, man. And this is for even lower tier dudes, man, because even if you're a lower tier dude and you're financially dominating your female, you have to be mindful that she ain't just around just so she can live in a better apartment, just so she can get a house that she never thought she could get, drive a car that that's just a slightly better than the one that she got now. You just got to be mindful of just women looking for the come up nowadays, because you're seen as a job opportunity, not as a husband and somebody that they love. And so it's getting to the point now, fellas, that y'all gonna have to get some stuff really fleshed out legally in writing. To hell with what's that, a prenup type of thing. I mean, in the vein of a prenup, but I'm saying, like, y'all gonna have to break down everything. When the kids pop out, if there's one kid, what y'all gonna do? If there's two kids, what y'all gonna do? If there's three, what y'all gonna do? And how assets are gonna be allocated, what's her life gonna look like, what's yours gonna look like, just so you're not holding the shit into the stick when she decides to call irreconcilable differences, or anything else in between. So yeah, fellas, this is a new day, it's a new age, man, and we can't keep living traditionally when everything is transitioned to modern. And now that you're dealing with newer people who don't know about traditionalism anymore, yeah, bro, you're just a ticket and a come up. So yeah, it don't have to be a high profile dude. You just got to be a dude making more than your chick, and you're probably seen as a come up, man, because she ain't trying to pay rent. Because hell, you see what rent is, you see what a mortgage is right now. She can't afford that by herself, so she's gonna need something from up out of you. So guys, just be mindful. Don't be seen as a ticket. Don't be a sucker for love. Understand that this guy played it right. He was playing chess while she thought he was being a sucker. And y'all got to be out here playing chess, because y'all don't have to be a grand footballer to get hosed. So yeah, man, be mindful, man, and reconsider marriage, and reconsider if this woman actually loves you. But as we mentioned, if she wasn't with you shooting in the gym or kicking that football around, not like LeBron's wife or something like that, or Steph Curry situations. If she wasn't there, even if we know Steph Curry girl knew that he was Steph Curry and all this other stuff, or LeBron's girl knew that, oh my God, this guy's LeBron in high school, she was still there. And, just imagine if LeBron decided to get married at 24 years old and he met some chick that he met when he was 24, he would have already gotten divorced. So just be mindful, guys, man, that you ain't got to be a grand footballer to get had out here. It's a new day and everybody's looking for a come up. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I'm so cynical with this stuff, man. I just kind of think that a lot of these women go into it knowing that there's going to be infidelity, so that she can just get divorced, so that she can divorce him. I mean, I have no other way to look at this at this point. It's just, if I'm wrong, y'all let us know in the comments. But that's just kind of how it looks to me, and come at me if you disagree. That's just what it looks like.
Yeah,
So,
and ladies, yeah, like you said, hey, now if I hit some triggers, no name calling, no nothing, no crazy stuff. Just leave a nice comment in there, but with your rebuttal, and I'll reply. Am I being too cynical? And I'm not bucketing all women. I'm saying the majority. All right, and if you happen to be that unicorn, sister, okay, my bad. All right, I'm talking about your friends. All right, so be mindful out there, but leave a comment. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, for sure. But either way, I think we are both in agreement that this move was strike one for the good guys. That's what I say.
City boys, we up.
Yeah, keep on balling.
Yep.
All right, so we have a continuation here of a topic that we touched on last week. Killer Cameron is now responding to all of the people who went at him for criticizing Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors photo shoot. So we touched on this on the channel last week. Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, they're in Creed 3, and they were a part of a photo shoot that Cameron, saw as sort of deviating from what a man should be doing. Deviating from traditional masculinity,
Right.
and we agreed with Cameron on that. We thought that was a suspect photo, but we understand what's going on. Liberal, hyper liberal, westernized society is trying to deconstruct masculinity. For whatever reason, the West is obsessed with feminizing men. And old school people like myself, Dogon SS, and Cameron, we don't necessarily agree with that. We think it's the wrong move. But Cameron put a post out on Instagram with that photo saying, "This is why I don't go see Creed 3." And we had all of these people coming out at Cameron saying, "Why does it have to be like that? Why can't two black men show affection for one another without it questioning their masculinity? And why this is the problem with society and the world, and blah 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 blah." So Cameron was effectively there were the liberal machine was attempting to cancel Cameron, at least on social media, and Cameron had a response for all of them. And so shouts out to Cameron. Cameron has become a friend of the channel. Because we've not talked about Cameron. I think this is the third time that we've talked about Cameron on this channel.
Yeah, man.
And I'm more of a fan of Cameron now than I ever was when he was an active rapper. And so we'll go ahead and show Cameron's response to all of the people coming at him on social media. As you can see on the right side of the screen, that is the post that he put up. You can read the caption. It says, "The reason I don't go see Creed." And people went crazy calling him all kind of stuff and basically saying that he's a part of the problem. We, of course, disagree. We think Cameron is part of the solution. So here's Cameron's response, and then we'll give our 2 cents once the video is done.
Niggas talk about they gonna cancel somebody. How the fuck you gonna cancel niggas who canceled they self, nigga? The fuck is you talking about? My mom got sick 2007. I said, fuck the whole music shit. I ain't give a fuck. And Killer Season just went quadruple platinum and left the whole music business. When you quit, Murder, how many you sold after you left? 7 million? My nigga sold 7 million and quit.
Blue.
You can't cancel niggas who canceled themselves and don't give a fuck. We left when we wanted to leave. Fuck cancel culture. We started it with ourselves, nigga. Sounds stupid.
It was popping.
Canceled themselves, my nigga. I went quadruple platinum on Killer Season and said, fuck everybody. My mom said, I come back when I'm ready. Murder sold 5 million records and say, I'm going to preach. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. You can't cancel niggas. We started cancel culture with ourselves. The fuck is you talking about? And we going, you can't dumb my shit down. I don't care what people think. You can't. Oh, this people gonna be mad. These people gonna be mad. I don't care. I don't care who gets me. You have the opportunity not to look at what I'm doing or to unfollow me. But you're not gonna follow. You will come back for some more shit. I don't care, man. That's the way it is, my nigga. It is what it is. Either follow or don't. There's mad other shit out there you can watch. You can watch street fights. You can watch Shark Week. You can watch a
nigga said Shark Week.
cancel somebody. How the
you know he old school. You talking about Shark Week? Why ain't nobody watch Shark Week?
I loved every second of that, man. I loved every second of that. And yeah, you can go watch Shark Week. Get off his back. Shark Week still rates out here in these streets every year when they do that on them channels. But yeah, man. So what did you think of what Cam had to say, man? Killer Season, 4 times platinum, baby.
Well, listen, man. One thing about Cam, all right, he gets the boosters boosting, and he gets computers puting, man. So if I get shot at, I can call him. He'll do the shooting. So, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he also tutors the students. So one thing about Cam, he's the man. All right, and you can't ban him. So I'm here for it all, because he approached this as he should, in your face Harlem style. So y'all can try to cancel him if you want. All right. But you can't cancel somebody who said something that knows he knows he can get canceled for saying it. So you can't cancel somebody who's not afraid to be canceled. When people ask, the new buzz thing is, what is a woman? If you're on the fence as a person and you go, whoa, hey, I ain't answering that. The hell you mean you're not answering that? What is a woman, man? That's a trick question. How is that a trick question? You afraid of being canceled? If I ask Killer Cam, what's a woman? He's going to give me a hell of a definition, I'm sure. All right. And it's going to be a woman. And he's not afraid to say what he's got to say. And we need more of that in today's world. You know, I don't know what kind of Orwellian present we're living in, where self-censorship is at its apex. And people can't be afraid to say what they want to say. Now, there are things that are insensitive culturally and unsensitive when it comes to, you got to use things, use discretion whenever you're speaking. But at the same time, we're not going to go around out here and walk on eggshells to preserve the feelings of somebody just because, you said that a woman is somebody that's born a female, or a man who's hugging a man a little bit too closely is a little too suspect for me. I'm not going to watch this movie because I don't know what kind of agenda you guys are pushing. So I'm not going to support you guys pushing an agenda that I don't support. I feel like everybody does that. Even the people on the far extreme left have their own opinions about what traditional things are, and they're not afraid to unmute and say what they have to say. But everybody else isn't canceling them for having their opinions. So why should we get canceled if we don't co-sign what they're doing? We're not calling anybody any slurs. We're not saying anybody has to die. We're not saying anything like that. We're just saying simply, we don't like it. So the mere fact that somebody's whole career, livelihood, and everything else can get tarnished just by their personal opinion is absolutely asinine. So Cameron coming out and unmuting and saying what he has to say and attacking those that had something to say about his opinion, I'm all for it, and I co-sign 1,000%. So you, sir, do you agree with Mr. Cam here?
Bro, Cameron is, you said last guy gets the award for man of the year. I think we should put Cameron in the running for man of the year too.
I agree.
You know, and the thing that I hate the most about what I call hyperliberalism is that canceling something should go both ways. So trust and believe, you can be liberal and say something reprehensible.
Yes,
you should get canceled just as much for that as a person who's conservative or traditional saying something that you don't like.
Agreed.
And the point with all of this is, at the end of the day, as I've said many times before, it's all about disagreeability. Stop getting so triggered that you want somebody to get fired because they said something that at the most is disagreeable.
Unbelievable.
Go outside and live a life and stop being triggered by everything all the damn time. No one's coming for your life. We talked about Don Lemon a few weeks ago, and even though Don Lemon is a robot, nevertheless, people tried to get, and let me be clear that when I refer to canceling, I'm referring to somebody being stripped of their livelihood. That's what I refer to when I talk about canceling. So, because I don't give a damn, I'm pretty sure Don Lemon, doesn't really care like that if people don't like what he has to say. Yeah. But if he ends up getting fired from CNN, that is, in my opinion, canceling him because he said something that people don't like. It was disagreeable, and now he's out of a livelihood that he worked to earn. It wasn't given to him. He went to school, he got his education, he worked up the ranks, he worked to earn this. And now you want to take that away because he said something that you don't agree with. That's bullshit. but that only works one way. And it works the way of if the conservative says something that's disagreeable. But be that as it may, they tried to get Don Lemon for saying on national television, you're out of your prime if you're a woman in your 50s. So this has gone so far beyond the pale. And that's why this stuff needs to go away. But Cameron is 100% correct. And when Cameron was talking about how he got out of the rap game when he wanted to, how he did this musically and stuff, and so he left on his own accord. He wasn't trapped in a record deal where he had to put out a bunch of albums in order to be released from bondage. He wasn't trapped on some bullshit entertainment contract where the record label or the A&Rs or whomever else was getting half of everything that he did as the artist, right? He wasn't trapped in any of these ridiculous deals that a lot of these rappers out here get trapped in. He left on his own accord. And so therefore you cannot, I'm the bearer of my own checks. I write my own checks. Therefore you cannot get rid of me. I do what I want because I write my own checks. And that's the seminal message that people need to take away from this. And that's why Dave Chappelle doesn't give a shit. That's why Dave Chappelle's dug in. He doesn't care how much you don't like what you think are transphobic jokes, because I don't think they're transphobic. But what y'all think are transphobic jokes, he doesn't care how much you don't like them, because he owns his own deals. Netflix pays him to do stand-up specials, and he earns all of the money for the right to put his stuff on Netflix. Netflix don't make the most of that cut. He does. He runs that. He owns Chappelle's Show now. That's why Chappelle's Show was taken down off of Netflix, and they stopped running it on Comedy Central, because Dave Chappelle was like, if I don't own my own creation, nobody gets to watch it. So you will give me what I have earned because I own this, and then I will let you have the right to show it because I'm giving you that permission because I own it. So people like Chappelle are so adamant about ownership because it gives him the ability to be transphobic and not give a damn. Whereas some of these other people who are run by machines have to guard everything they say because they could have their livelihood stripped from them and in effect get canceled. Kevin Hart. So what I took away from this, and because Cam is the bearer of his own checks. He owns himself. They run that little podcast over there. They bring their little people on there. You got Murder Mace on there doing his own thing. They don't have to worry about getting fired. They put that production on themselves, and they retain the vast majority of the profits, the proceeds from it. You can't cancel somebody who writes their own checks. You're not canceling Dave Chappelle. That's why Nick Cannon was able to get his stuff back. They wanted to get rid of Nick Cannon because they feel like Nick Cannon is anti-Semitic, even though he wasn't being that. He wasn't really being anti-Semitic. But hey, you say something about a protected species, or we're going to cancel you. So they wanted to get rid of him. They wanted to get rid of Viacom. Got rid of him, fired him. He owns Wild 'N Out. You can't get rid of him. So what did he do? He said, "Look, I own all of this. If you get rid of me, these programs go away. These programs rate for you. Therefore, it behooves you to keep me here because I'll take my IPs and go elsewhere." And they got shook. And they were like, "Oh, we got to bring him back. Just apologize and we'll call it even." Okay, fine. I'll give you that. Now he's back. He still hosts his show. What's that show he hosts? Masked Singer or whatever he got going on with that. He's the host. And then he still does the Wild 'N Out, and he still has all of this other stuff that he got going on. Nick Cannon don't give a damn about throwing a little money away. That's why he can have 13, 14, 15,000 kids. He don't give a shit. It's probably people who want to cancel Nick Cannon because he got so many kids by so many different women.
Oh, yeah.
You know what he can afford to continue to do? Have as many kids as he wants. You can't get rid of him. He owns his shit. So that's my point, is like, all y'all with this canceling stuff, y'all don't like disagreeable points of view. Y'all want to fire this person, make this person go to counseling. Y'all want to get rid of this person. Y'all want to get mad at Cameron because he said a reasonable critique about that suspect ass photo shoot with those two Hollyweird people. And y'all want to cancel them. But you can't because no one owns them. So boo-hoo the fool on y'all hyper liberal left wing zealots out there who just want to get touched and offended and just triggered by every little thing that comes down the pike in this free speech society, supposedly, where people are supposed to be able to say and do whatever they want, so long as it is not infringing on people's civil liberties. And opinions of this nature don't do that. So who looks more foolish? The one getting canceled or the one who's attempting to do the canceling? I say it's the one who's attempting to do the canceling.
Right.
But I say, team, I'm camped. I'm killer. Look, man, I went through Spotify this past week and I listened to every Cameron album on Spotify because I'm more of a fan of Cameron now than I was when he was rapping. Yeah, because you're not. That's what I'm about. Don't cancel people. So all y'all out there who want to be able to say whatever you want, and you're, shackled and chained by this machine, the liberal agenda. Ownership is the key. Own the right to your own IPs, your properties. The classic age-old thing that we used to look at when we came to these rappers is which of the rappers owns their own masters, because so many of them didn't. It was only a very few percentage of the rappers who own the rights to their own music that they created, sadly, weirdly. And so, that this is an offshoot of that. People, be the bearer of your own checks, right? And you talk all the time about being a boss and not being somebody who punches the clock, being a drone. Right. Orwellian is very apropos. Yeah. You can throw 1984 in there. The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. All of these things that people wrote books about decades ago. This stuff is happening today. So if you don't want to be bound by this ridiculous cancel culture system that they're trying to put in place to push liberalism, then just be an owner. Because when you're an owner, you can do whatever the fuck you want and nobody can get rid of you, and you can make your money and you can find your niche where you're going to get your support and be able to continue to do what you're doing. Because as quietly as it's kept, the majority of the people out here do still side on the side of traditionalism and fairness and reason, not all of this hyper liberal stuff that's in the mainstream media and in social media world, the vocal minority.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm Team Cam all day on this, and I hope he continues to push this. We will feature Cameron and his podcast and that channel more and more as these sorts of stories come up. But yeah, I'm rocking with it all the way.
Yeah, man. Well said. I agree 100. And the reason, and if anybody wants to look at the country right now, the current state of the economy, just go try to buy some gas right now. Matter of fact, go grocery shopping for you and yours. All right. And tell me what your bank statement looked like afterwards. All right. Go try to pay some rent or pay a mortgage. The reason the country the way it is right now, the reason the country is the way it is right now is because men aren't men anymore. Period. And how do we get here? Feminism and emasculation all over the place. And men have been emasculated. Now, see, I was in this space where I was only looking at the trauma and the trials of Black people. So I was always paying attention to Black men being emasculated on film. But as of recently, probably like in the last 5 years, I started just looking abroad. And every man is being emasculated. And the country is where it's at right now because men aren't men. It's very subtle attacks like these photos that Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors are taking. They're so hugged up. Oh, they're just friends. Since when? Since when did men that were friends get this close up on each other like this? This is a subtle attack to the subconscious. Because I can guarantee you, the more and more a man keeps rubbing up on another man's muscles like this, the more and more a man keeps getting all close and intimate with their friend like this, the more and more they're going to enjoy it. I had a friend because we were talking about, all kinds of stuff. And, we was talking about whatever. I told her, I said, hey, no anal play. I don't do that. She said, good. Because I don't want no man that want that. And because women want a man. And something about anal play ain't right. But, you'll get the Gabrielle Union, D Wade situations where, people are doing stuff like that. But look how Wade is raising his child now. Yeah. Because he does stuff like that. And so, because all these passes, you can't give no passes to stuff like that. And she said, well, why won't you say, so you won't even try it? I said, no. And the LGBT community might love me when I say this, but I might like it. Now, hold on, pause. Now, so here's the thing. People are sexual, period. That's why there's just gay people. Because you only have to do it and you like it. And then all of a sudden, you like gay stuff. So, anal, like you can't stimulate that part of your body, period. And if you're a man, not to. So eventually that's how dudes go to prison, get turned out. Eventually like man butt before, but they didn't like man butt before. Or boys that get molested when they're younger, and all of a sudden they're gay when they get older because they didn't like it when it was happening, but they got Stockholmed into enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Everybody is sexual. And that's the whole crux with this whole gay thing in the first place. Oh, they were born gay. No, you weren't born. You were born sexual. But there's a way of doing life that promotes more life. And there's rules and guidelines that were set in place a long time ago. And then we had these religions that enforce these things because humans have been around for a very long time. And so religion put certain parameters in place so people don't do behaviors that degrade society. So don't do homosexuality. Don't do this. Don't do that. Why? Because societies crumble after that. That's why. And you don't want your society to crumble, period. Now that we're introducing all of this anal play and all of this, hey, you can do whatever you want. All of a sudden, as soon as that stuff started to spike, then the Western society has started to go into the pits. I screamed that that's a hell of a coincidence. And they're correlated. If men were actually being men, they would fight against certain things. But if they're emasculated and they're more on the feminine spectrum, receiving instead of giving, they'll take this punishment given by the state, and they'll take this punishment given by corporatocracy. So the less and less man you are, the less and less you defend yourself and your family and your homeland. So these types of things are subtle attacks to the subconscious. They don't work on us. This is for your kids.
Yeah.
So another thing, like I just heard the other day, Mr. Beast, one of the biggest YouTubers out there, his homeboy, whatever, Tyson, all right, is transitioning over. He got a divorce from his wife, taking hormone replacements. Now he's non-binary and transitioning. That's not for us. We don't watch Mr. Beast. So who are those hundreds of millions of subscribers?
It's for my nephew. It's for my 12-year-old nephew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's for kids. Just like the Bud Light VP that we covered the other day, that we're targeting a new generation.
Correct. Younger drinkers.
That's right.
Young drinkers. Yeah.
That's right. And they're targeting that group of people. The ones that are coming up with this convoluted version of what sexuality is. Now imagine, are they going to defend their homeland? Or are they going to be so caught up in their sexuality that you're just having furry sex all day? So I brought this whole thing up, all right, just to say that Cameron's not jumping the gun. He's not overreacting. It's just a picture, man. Calm down. They're best friends. It's deeper than that. And Cameron saw it. I'm not supporting it. because that's not being man no more. So I say the same thing, man. To hell with cancel culture. And just like how you mentioned, hey, own yourself. And if you own yourself, right, you don't have to listen to no machine that's trying to push an agenda on you and your family. So
Yeah.
a lot said there, but
Yeah.
take what I said there, you know, and pause. God damn it. Somebody gonna take my shit out of context and say, hey, Dogon say he's gonna like it. It's like, no, I
No, I know what you were trying to say, but you're right. And part of the one of the ancillary byproducts of this emasculation is a lower propensity for people to be an owner in some capacity.
That's right.
Because I believe that if you are, as a man, emasculated, there's a higher likelihood that you're going to be you're going to be more comfortable with being subservient.
That's right.
So I'm not necessarily going to argue causation because I don't know which one caused what. That's more of a chicken or the egg type thing. But is there a correlation? Yes, 100%, absolutely. And I don't know how anyone who is not biased can look at this stuff and actually think that this is for the better. I don't know how you can think that, but hey, man, you got a lot of people out here who will listen to what we're saying here on this channel, and they'll say that we're being, what will they say, intolerant, bigots, whatever, or homophobes, transphobes, whatever. I don't give a damn. I own this, so you're not going to get rid of me. So it is what it is, man. Like, look, at the most, these things are disagreeable points of view. People need to get over it. Go outside, walk the dog, drink a glass of wine, go to the movies, go on a date with your significant other. You know what I'm saying? Take a walk in the park, go to the gym, go work out, go to the grocery store, go live life, and stop being triggered because Cameron said he's not going to go watch Creed 3 because he is not going to support a very homoerotic photo between two supposedly heterosexual men. Whether you like the fact that I agree with Cameron, but I don't even give a shit whether you agree with him or not. The point is, it's disagreeable. So go figure out something to do and stop crying all the time about trying to get people canceled, because you're not going to cancel somebody who can't be canceled because he already canceled himself. He owns his shit. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm team Cameron all day. And it's refreshing. Cameron will never be on SportsCenter. He'll never be on ESPN. He'll never be on CNN. He might be on Fox News. And then black people will say that he's a sellout because he's on Fox News.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Isn't it crazy how this stuff works?
Yeah,
so,
man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like there's nothing these days. There's no sort of public facing move that you can make from a message disseminating standpoint in which you're safe unless you parrot the speech. You've got to parrot speech. So Cameron is proudly on the side of reasonability and tradition, but if he goes on Fox News, black people will turn on him because they'll say he's against black people because apparently Fox News is racist, allegedly. So, it's just, this stuff is all crazy. It's out of control. It's just gone way off the rails. But at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about what can happen to your livelihood and the things that you've worked to earn when you strategically position yourself to be the bearer of your own checks, own your own shit, and you don't have nothing to worry about. So it is what it is, man. Go Cam. That's it.
It's 1984, bro.
Yeah.
It's 1984, man.
Yes. I remember reading The Fountainhead in high school, and I was like, no way. I read that thing again like 2 years ago. We're living in that right now. Yes. And for anyone who does not know, go pick the book up. It's by Ayn Rand. It's called The Fountainhead. It's a very classic book. Please read it. It might scare some of y'all straight.
Literally.
No pun intended.
Oh, man.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about Khia. Khia, man. Khia is close. Khia is close to being a friend of the channel. So she puts out her...
Okay, hold
She
on.
put-
Before you play the clip, find a way to like crop that page. Cause I know I don't want no flags on this. Go ahead. This is outrageous.
I think we good.
Okay.
We'll see. But Khia went at so Luenell is a comedian. She's been around for a long time. Luenell is in her 60s. She's in her mid 60s. She's been in a bunch of stuff. She was in Think Like a Man, the first one and the second one. She was in All About Steve. She's been in a bunch of movies. She was in Taken 2. She was in the new Coming to America. She's been in a lot of stuff. She's been in a lot of movies. She's had an extensive career in the entertainment industry. But apparently, unbeknownst to me, and unbeknownst to Dogon, Luenell is on OnlyFans. I didn't know this, but Luenell is on OnlyFans. And so Khia, who has now curated a lane for herself as a content creator, went at Luenell for her OnlyFans page. And so we'll go ahead and play what Khia had to say about Luenell's page. It's a 4-minute clip. We won't play the whole thing, maybe half of it, so that gives you a good idea of what's going on here. But Khia is on the way, man.
Warning.
Khia is on the way. Who knew? But Khia has some choice words for Luenell about her OnlyFans page. So we'll go ahead and listen to Khia's commentary, and then we'll talk about this wonderful piece of content.
Oh man.
In order now, Luenell, girl. Luenell. So this what you've been doing on OnlyFans, girl. Bathing in a little ass tub in dirty water with a dirty ass dish rag. The rag that you stopped the tub up with. Making faces looking worse than candy, girl. You know, y'all hoes ain't got no goddamn sex appeal. Do I need to give y'all hoes a class? Monique would never. Now, Luenell, girl, you know you're big snuffleupagus looking ass done crossed the line. We the people still trying to figure out how you got your big ass in that little ass tub, girl. Who helped you in there? Where's your child? Where is the soap and the bubbles, gag? Going to you not to pull these kind of stunts you've been pulling on. What the hell going on with you, Luenell? Comedy shows ain't selling. Child sitting in that ass tub knowing damn well you need help to get out of there. Child, I hope you put some bleach and baking soda in there. That water was gray as fuck. Ash. Looking like the Chinese pedicure bowl water. Apple cider vinegar in there. Something, child. Who the fuck turned on by snuffleupagus? Child, big ass manatee splashing the kiddie pool. Luenell, girl, no, it's a fuck no. Yeah, go. You know you need a chair, Miss Mary, a power chair like Miss Mary and her scooter. I'm gonna threw up in my mouth. Who the fuck helping you in and out of that tiny tub with your big ass? Gag or the Luenell, girl. This what you been doing on OnlyFans? Knowing your walrus looking ass need to be in a whirlpool hot tub big as a motherfucking pool at the YMCA. Not no FHA housing authority tub. Gag or when you book a flight, you need 2 seats. You know you need a bigger tub, bitch. What's going on? Child. Now the fire marshal got to cut your big ass out that tub, titties long as I-20, ain't even no nipples in sight. They gonna suck on old bad body assholes going wild. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Luenell. I know your daughter is. Rihanna done sent you that fatty and you done lost your fucking mind. Titties is long, hanging down to your asshole. We the people did not need to see all of that Luenell first thing in the morning with your rusty ass gag. Go to bitch, the water was gray and dirty as fuck. Not one bubble. Get your stinking ass out there, tub snuffleupagus. If we want to see a hippo bathe, we would have went to the zoo.
Oh man. Oh man. I when I saw this, bro, I was like, I didn't know she was so funny. The timing of those jokes is perfect. Oh man.
Yeah.
That was great.
So yeah, so she's calling her out, there's obviously there's different directions that this can go, but yeah, she's kind of trying to, dial her back. Like nobody's asking for this, but Luenell's on OnlyFans. And I don't know if this is all she does on OnlyFans. I don't know much about her OnlyFans page. As anyone who follows this channel knows, I have a moral crusade against OnlyFans. I hate the very existence of it. I despise it. If I became president of the United States tomorrow, I would outlaw it. I would make OnlyFans illegal. It would be a Schedule 1 drug, and I would put people in prison for lengthy prison sentences for creating OnlyFans pages. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
But this is what we got going on, man. This is Luenell, who is not by age a new human, but certainly through doing this, she is capitulating to new human behavior.
Unbelievable.
And I can't imagine who in the world would want this, but there must be a market for, hence why she's doing it, which is a part of this. For me, that's an issue. Can't stand it. But, I guess we can start with Khia's comments, or you can go right into the OnlyFans thing. You can take it in whatever direction that you want, but this to me is just wild stuff.
Well, yeah, I started off initially by giving Khia her props because, again, that was grade A timing. In order to execute a good roast, you have to have good timing, and she had good timing with it. So I like to commend her for that. Now, when it comes to this Luenell stuff and her actually being in the tub like this, I was disturbed. It's disturbing. And like you said, this is new human behavior, and it's like, why are you doing that? But this ties into that first conversation that we had, that they looking for the come up, and all women, well, I won't say all women, the majority of women are looking for the come up, and OnlyFans is a way of getting the easy come up for a lot of these women. And now the shows ain't selling, or they probably are selling at the same rate that they did, but
right,
the come up is so necessary.
Yeah.
Now, Luenell always displayed herself as a freak. This is dating back to her BET days, where she always had freaky stuff. Anytime she was red carpet somewhere or whatever, she always had some scantily stuff on. So this isn't far from her alley. So if there was any old school comedian woman to do it, I'm not surprised that she's the one. But the dirty dish rag, the dirty tub water, the no bubbles. I'm like, who's finding this attractive? The only reason I would watch this is to roast her. All right. So and we've discussed this before on this channel. I don't have a problem with bigger women. I don't have an issue with that. But there's still a criteria of being sexy. And that wasn't sexy. Look at these images. There's nothing hot about this. So the only guys that are turned on by this, all right, need to take little blue pills. So how about you, sir? What do you feel about this? What angle do you want to take here, man? This is atrocious to me, honestly.
It is. So there's so many different ways to go.
I know, dude.
Let me start here. Let me start here.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I detest OnlyFans so much is because the traditionalist in me respects people who self-actualize because they tapped into something and they worked at it and they perfected it and they contribute to society by leveraging those skills and talents in order to make money and just do things that way. There's many reasons why I hate OnlyFans, but I think perhaps the biggest reason why I hate OnlyFans is it because it allows people, primarily women, to reach those heights without leveraging anything or contributing shit. They're merely existing. And because we have so many simpish emasculated, blue-pilled men in the world who are willing to fund this machine, women can get off on it by simply creating an account, and they just get on camera and they bust ass and they bust down. And next thing you know, you got women making $10,000 a month off of doing nothing but profiteering off of losers. Society, the large percentage of losers in our society who won't take that same subscription money and go and meet a woman in person. They'd rather subscribe to an OnlyFans page and pay this chick to watch her get bust down by some other dude while she's patronizing you because she really doesn't give a shit about you. All she wants is your money and your tips and your donations. So I hate OnlyFans for that reason. I really do hate it. I really think that it is indicative of how many losers we have out here. Low self-esteem, no social skills, having losers who will willingly fund this machine and keep it going. And I am somebody who at my core respects people who contribute to society by leveraging God-given talents and gifts. And I don't think a woman being a woman is a God-given talent and gift. I don't give a shit what any woman feminist or woman supporter says. You're not God's gift to earth just because you exist as a female. I don't care what simp men have told you or conditioned you to believe. So having said that, the reason why I'm so disappointed in Luenell with this is because she has a God-given talent that she can leverage in order to do this. She's a comedian.
Right.
And she's had an extensive career for many years. Now, I don't know Luenell's bank account. I don't know how much money she makes. I don't know her net worth. But I know she's been in entertainment since the 90s. And she continues to be entertainment to this day. So you can't be lacking in opportunities if you've been able to sustain this career in entertainment for this long. Yet, despite that, you will still do this new human stuff and get an OnlyFans. Why? Because she's looking at the landscape and she's saying, look at all of these losers and look at all of this weirdo new human stuff going on out here. Let me just do that. It's easier. I don't have to work as hard. You probably got, I don't know how many losers out there get off on seeing videos like this, but I would imagine there must be a sizable amount.
It's wild, bro.
There must be a sizable amount. So it's like, let me take advantage of these losers and hop on board this train and get on OnlyFans. And I think that it's extremely disappointing. But if I can sit up here and say I find Luenell doing this disappointing because I just respect people who, quote unquote, get it out the mud, for lack of a better way to express it, leverage gifts and talents. You know what I'm saying? And she has that. She's done this already, so why do this? But I can also at the same time say, all you goddamn losers and you people out here funding this thing. I don't know how many times I need to say. Like, I get so frustrated with this. I don't know how many times I need to say y'all need to put the OnlyFans down. What? Like, and this speaks to the point that you made about the previous topic.
That's right.
That's what makes that's what makes these conversations so interesting to me, because these issues are correlated.
That's right.
You guys are so emasculated.
That's right.
And you're so devoid of true manhood.
That's right.
That you glean subscribing to OnlyFans as a masculine activity.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And that's the greatest tragedy in all of this. If you were a red-blooded man, forget masculinity. I think that plays a part in it, but for the sake of argument, let's just throw that out the window. Let's throw qualifiers out the window, and let's just stick to traditional masculinity. If you are someone who is masculine and you are proud of your masculinity and you believe in it, and you're not swayed by people who want to tell you you need to be more feminine,
right?
There would be something in you that says there's something wrong with the fact that I'm spending money on OnlyFans. there would be a part of you that's like, there's something not all the way right about this.
Yeah.
Even if you pay, let's say you subscribe to a page or two for a month or two, hell, 60, 90 days, there would be a part of you that is eating away at your consciousness, saying there's something wrong with the fact that I'm spending this money on this chick who doesn't even give a shit about me. She doesn't respect me. She doesn't know who I am. She knows what my screen name is because that's the name I put on my OnlyFans account. So she'll patronize me and make me feel like I'm a part of something so that I can continue to give her money. She doesn't give a shit about you. Why aren't y'all paying for this stuff? Why? There should be something in you that says there's something wrong about the fact that this chick can just look good and make 10K a month doing something as ridiculous as this.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to contribute to anything that sees a woman making $10,000 a month just to get bust down on the internet. I'm not doing it. None of y'all should be doing this. And what's so bad about this is that it's become so pervasive. You got 64-year-old comedians like Luenell saying, let me get my own OnlyFans because I'm going to hit a lick. I'm going to hit a lick. So why not? There's a market for 64-year-old overweight comedians to have an OnlyFans. There must be.
It is.
And so here we are. This is where we are. This is where we are. It's the saddest shit. You know, oh man, like I don't know how many times that we got to get on here and continue to say this stuff, but this is yet another indication of how bad this shit has gotten. And so again, I have to say the way I said the first time that we brought up Khia, kudos to you, kudos to Khia for bringing this up. You can perceive this however way you want, but at the end of the day, this pervasive new human weirdo behavior has got to stop. It really, there's got to be an end to it, or there will be an end to us all, quite frankly. And it starts with the men. I firmly believe that. So I'm with you on that when you bring that up. It starts with the men. Mm-hmm. It does. Because the advent of men being emasculated and becoming more effeminate is far outpacing the advent of women doing the opposite.
Yep.
Far outpacing it. Yep. That's why you got so many men cheating on women all the time, because the women want the men. And so the women want the men, and the population of men is dwindling to a point where you have men who have all access to all the women.
That's right.
So I don't know what y'all expect to happen, but take this as a sign of the apocalypse. Luenell and her OnlyFans.
Oh man,
you reap what you sow. So I hope all of you OnlyFans advocates, y'all want to call these women entrepreneurs. They ain't entrepreneuring shit. They're not doing anything. They're not. They're not building anything. They're not fixing infrastructures. They're not creating apps that help people. They're not building cars. They're not doing any kind of manufacturing. They're having sex in front of the camera, or rubbing their feet, or wearing lingerie, and they're patronizing you because they can take advantage of your weakness. So congratulations. I hope you're happy, because this is only going to continue to get worse. It's sad. It really is.
I mean, my thing is how worse does it get? Like, because just like Khia said, like she, like those are some real low hangers, and I was like, what is it? Because I'm sitting here, you send me this, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, all right, because I'm aware of YouTube policies. I'm sitting here looking at it, and I'm like, where's the nipples? This is disturbing, dude. This is bad. But you hit the nail on the head. Like tying into the last topic of dudes just being emasculated. And porn doesn't help either, guys.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
So that's just free OnlyFans if you want to keep it 100. All right. So you're just watching free OnlyFans and wanking away life force every time you watch that stuff. And that's part of this machine too, by the way, to emasculate men. And I didn't know how bad that was until we started talking about the incel rates of what's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can even attest to this even in my younger days when, I first stumbled upon, free stuff, and I'm going haywire. But I'm going so haywire that I don't need to go out tonight.
Yep.
And just like how you said, just, hey man, bro, if you pay for some OnlyFans, but you ain't feeling right about it, that's all right, bro. That ain't feeling right is your calling to not do it no more. And I've had moments where I realized that I watch so much of this stuff that I don't even want to go get the real thing no more.
Mhm.
Or it's not a big deal. I'll go tomorrow. You're not going to go tomorrow because you're going to watch more porn tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we came up in a situation where we lived before free porn. But there's guys who grew up and it was always on the phone.
Mhm.
And those are the ones that's struggling right now. Those are the ones that's paying for OnlyFans right now. And honestly, those are the ones that simp off and trick in real life. Because the only thing they know is simping and tricking.
Yeah.
And porn emasculates, guys. We talked about when we were talking about Bud Light the other day. Hey guys, beer knocks your T down, guys. It doesn't help your testosterone. So those marketing strategies to tell you that you're more of a man, you're being all-American man because you're drinking beer, it was a fallacy. There's a lot of things invested in making sure that men aren't men anymore. Now we can tie this into the food, all the soy that they have in damn near every product, the plastics that they wrap in every product that's slowly taken away from men's testosterone daily. We are being attacked, guys. So we have to be mindful that platforms like OnlyFans are working to our detriment, not to our benefit. And for Luenell to unmute and say, you know what? This sucker shit is so high, I can get a bag out of this. You kind of don't even fault her for doing it. It's the guys. Because as soon as some dudes heard that Luenell's finally showing them titties,
They subscribed.
they went and subscribed. And that, sir, I'm talking about you, bro. It's like Jordan means stop. Get some help. You need some help, sir. But yeah, man, because Luenell's an entertainer, been in and out the industry. Who knows what she do behind closed doors to get roles or whatever. So for her to expose herself sexually is not a big deal for her. It's really not. And like I said, she was already sexual with her comedy in the first place. So this is nothing for her to do, honestly. It's just wild that she's in her freaking 60s, busting down on OnlyFans, and some clowns find it upon themselves to go pay for that. Yeah, man, I'm calling y'all clowns. That's wild, man. And so yeah, man. So you kind of don't even blame the women in these situations. Like I told y'all in the last conversation, women be looking for the come up, man. And if they see dollar signs, they running. And who's the people with the money? It's the men. And the men are just throwing their money out there, and women are just chasing dollars. They go wherever the money's at. So hey man, it is what it is. I don't care for this stuff, but it's only going to get worse because men are being less and less manly by the day. And like I said, it's deeper than just the programming. That's one aspect, but you also got to look at what people are ingesting as far as foods and beverages and stuff like that. That's not helping your testosterone levels, and it's not helping you go out there and slay and get you a real woman. And so, yeah, guys, avoid the soy, drop the soy, read the back of your labels. They're in your chips. They're everywhere. Read the back of your label. Soybean oil, drop it. Drop it, and so read the back of your labels. Oh, this is vegan. It's supposed to be healthy. It's plant-based. It's soy-based. And the more you take that, the less you don't get that to your kids. Read the back of your label, man. So yeah, so this goes deeper than OnlyFans. This is just targeting masculinity, fellas. Be men, and because I honestly, I'm pretty sure women, are because women low key don't even like you watching porn anyway. I can only imagine if you're dealing with a chick and she knows that you giving some of her money to OnlyFans girls.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure
Ridiculous.
the ladies don't like it either, bro. So just cut the nonsense, man. And you know, go get you the real thing, man. And if you have the real thing, don't be a sex addict, because that's what they work on too. Bro, if you getting stuff already, bro, if you got 1 or 2 chicks and you still gotta watch porn, bro, they got you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of sex addicts now, bro. Everybody's a nympho at this point. So yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know what to tell y'all, man. Besides what we done already said, man. But if y'all on our side of the street, hey, kudos, fellas, man. We preaching to the choir. But as I always say, man, if y'all are on the fence, on the fringes, you got 1 or 2 accounts because you thought it wasn't a big deal, reconsider, dog, and see what it's doing to your psyche, because it is having an impact. Luenell, I guess get your bag, sister. But Khia, keep it up, sister. Keep calling them out.
I agree. Yeah, keep calling them out. I like the content that she's putting out there. And that's why, because I was thinking about the angle that I wanted to go, because there are a few angles that you can tackle, because another interesting angle with this is, another angle with this is, why isn't Khia's critique of Luenell being perceived as body shaming? Because part of Khia's criticism, she leaned into Luenell on her body type and her weight and all of that. So why isn't that perceived as body shaming? Oh, it's because Khia is a woman and not a man. That's why it's not body shaming, right? So there's a lot of different angles that I could have gone with this thing, but the one that struck a chord with me the most was just I'm not going because the thing with Luenell, and a lot of women, like you said, are just opportunists out here, whether they can come up via a divorce or whether they can come up by becoming a sex worker. Women are going to take advantage of various means by which to come up. Right. So I'm looking at her and I'm saying, even though I hate what she's doing and I vehemently disagree with it, she's nevertheless looking in her mind, she's making a logical choice in terms of, how can I come up and make money and take advantage of this crap?
Right.
But on the other side, it's, why is there a market for it? And me, I look at progenating behaviors all day. So I'm always looking at, why is this a thing that's able to exist in the first place? What is the action or behavior that's causing this to be a thing that can exist? There's no reason for these chicks being able to make 10. There's no reason for some random chick to get on OnlyFans and start making 10K a month. There is a problem with that. And there should be something in you. I'm not trying to hate on her or nothing. It is what it is. You're not contributing shit. You're just existing as a woman, and you're able to make 10K a month because you can take advantage of this goofy system that's been set up. So, there's a lot of different angles that I could have gone at it from, but that was the one that struck a chord with me the most. I just look at the landscape of today's men, and I'm just largely disappointed. It's unfortunate, and I agree with you. I do see it getting worse. It's more and more pervasive. It is what it is, but it's just, Khia continue to make those videos. I'm definitely in favor of this one. And, I just thought we'd speak on that, because that's just, the whole thing to me is just rotten. It's disgusting. And, like I said, if I wish I could just make it go away, I do. But at this point, if you made it go away, where do you put all of these suspect dudes?
Right, exactly.
Where do you put them? You corral them and send them all to therapy? Like, what do you do with them? I don't even know what do you do with them? If you get rid of this stuff, where do they go?
That's what I'm saying. They're just gonna create a new. They're gonna create a new vessel, bro. Like the sickness is out there already, and there's clearly a market for it. So, like you said, even if you get rid of OnlyFans, they're gonna find a way to scratch that itch, because they're too afraid to talk to a woman in person.
It's so sad. It's so sad, man.
But
yeah, for real. Put the OnlyFans down. Put it down. They don't deserve your money. They don't deserve your adulation. They don't give a shit about you. Put it down, please. But whatever. Appreciate Kyle for the content. This was great fodder for the Conscious Approach channel. So we'll continue to feature this kind of stuff as it comes about. Shouts out. Thanks a lot, Kaya. Good stuff. Good video.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, we are going to go ahead and close out on tonight's stream, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Conscious Approach, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so. We do this each and every week, and then we also publish standalone videos as well. So if you happen to be watching this as a part of the longer stream or as a standalone video, and if you're not a part of the tribe, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man, because we are doing a lot of good stuff over here, pushing this logical content. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the commentary. We also publish these videos to a Facebook page, Conscious Approach. So if you happen to be watching this video there, go ahead and follow the page, like the page as well. Leave a comment there. Share this video wherever you're watching. Also be on the lookout for Conscious Approach wherever you get your podcast fix, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, wherever you get that stuff. Coming, it is on the way. You can find Conscious Approach on Instagram at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. I am also accessible on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. Stay on your square, man. Put the OnlyFans down. But until next time, we certainly appreciate you supporting this logical content.
Yes, sir. And the name is Dogon SS. You can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS or on YouTube at Dogon SS. Also on YouTube at Hurricane Dogon. All right. So make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe over there and over channel. All right. And as I say on every part, everybody, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill. You know what I'm saying? Keep it even kill, man. Don't let anybody get you off your pivot, man. Especially this woke culture out here that's trying to make y'all do some stuff that you naturally don't feel like doing. So listen to your inner self, man. And if it don't feel right, keep rocking and rolling, and to hell with being canceled, man. So until the next time, guys, we'll catch y'all on the flip side.
All facts, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Thanks for the support. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.
Peace. Go Dolphins. Go Heat. Go Canes.